Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. Today I am doing an experiment. I've never made this recipe before, so I have no idea if it's going to work out. In fact, I'm actually just making it up as we go along now. Years ago I grew squash and forgot how big and how quickly it grows. So I had I had about 4 or 5 bushes and I've got rid of a few and I'm down to 1 now. Just can't keep up with them. But I've got a heap of squash and I don't know what to do with them. I really don't. I've put it in dog food, I freeze it, and we fry it up most days, but there's just too much of it. So today I'm going to try a lemon squash cake. So we used to have like a butter cake that had a lemon flavour through it. So I figure it's yellow, it looks like butter. Why not give it a go? Stick around and let's see how it turns out. And I think I might even upload this video even if it doesn't turn out. So let's see what happens. So I've taken the top and bottom off my squash and weighed those, and they're about 450 grams. What I want to do is chop that up roughly. The next thing I want to put in here is the zest of a lemon and the juice of a whole lemon. So this is quite a large lemon. I do like a lemony flavour in my cakes, so I'm happy to go more on the lemon. So I will put the zest into here. And we'll put the juice of the lemon in there as well. That'll just help it mix better too with all that excess liquid. So we'll mix that through and chop up the squash. Remember, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just completely winging it. I want to make sure that the squash is completely mixed, chopped up into a really mushy pulp. It's starting to come together nicely. So far it's looking promising. That's yellow. What I'm going to add now is half a cup of melted butter. Now the melted butter, half a cup, it's about 125 grams. So I'm putting all of the wet ingredients in first. Now I'm going to add some cream, and I'm going to put in half a cup of whipping cream or thickened cream. So half a cup of thickened cream. Now you'll notice that I didn't actually strain the squash. What I'm doing is actually using less liquid in this cake mix than I normally would, and allowing the liquid in the squash to form the rest of the liquid that's in the cake mix. At least that's the theory at the moment. Mix that together I might actually add the sweetener at this point too. So I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of Natvia or a sweetener of your choice. You can always add extra sweetener later if you want to. In fact, I'm going to just put 3 because I find this is very sweet. So 3 tablespoons of Natvia. Mix it through again. Have a bit of a taste. The lemon tastes really good. I have to put some eggs in here. You could probably even do with more lemon in there, but I'll see how it is when the flour goes in. So 3 eggs. And we'll mix that through again. What I've also done is turn the oven on, so I'm preheating the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 365 degrees Fahrenheit. So turn the oven on. That's all mixed through, so all the wet ingredients are in there. Now I'm going to add the dry ingredients. There's not much of that. I want 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I do heat spoons. And before I put the almond flour in, I'm actually going to mix that through again. And then the last ingredient is almond flour. Now, most of the time when I do cakes, I just use an almond meal. This is the first time I'm actually using almond flour, so I believe it's more finely grated or ground. When I make the cakes, I find they're actually quite often quite grainy, and I don't have a good enough food processor or blender or grinder to grind mine to a fine powder, so I'm trying this out. I think it's a lot more expensive, so I'll probably go back to a grainy one later, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to put 2 cups of almond flour. So this is just a 1/4 cup measurement. So I'll put 1 cup in first, mix that through. It's looking like sludge. Lots of things I make look like sludge. Anyway, another cup of flour. I actually have very little flour left, so there's probably another 1/4 cup in here. That works out to be a 300 gram bag. So 300 grams of almond flour or 2 1/4 cups. Now this is where you're going to want to taste it and make sure you've got enough lemon in there and enough sweetener. And also check the consistency of it as well. needs more sweetener, so I'm going to put that extra tablespoon in of the sweetener, and I can actually taste the squash. So there's 4 tablespoons of Natvia now, and I'm actually going to put in another half a lemon because I think it needs the extra lemon. So I've got another lemon. I'm going to zest another half of that. I don't think I need too much more zest. I probably don't need any at all, but I really do like zest in my cakes. Okay. So I'll squeeze another half a lemon and we'll see how that goes. I do love experimenting in the kitchen. It's really just a matter of trial and error. Mix this and mix that until you can get something working. Okay, I'll give that another mix through. It's actually tasting pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is squeeze in a little bit more lemon. I don't need any more zest. And about half a tablespoon of sweetener, not even, so just under half. So if you do 4 generous tablespoons of sweetener, that should be enough. Again, that's going to depend on how sweet you like your cakes as well, but half the fun is in tasting as you go along. I reckon that's good. I really like this. So I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. It's got a really nice tangy lemon flavour. So I've used 2 lemons and the zest of 1.5 lemons. The zest, that's personal choice. So if you don't want to use too much zest, don't put too much in there. Took me a long time to actually start eating food with the zest of lemons and oranges in it. And 4 tablespoons of sweetener. Adjust that if you like yours a little bit sweeter. If you don't, then put a little bit less. But I found that to get rid of the taste or the flavour of the squash, I actually needed to add more sweetener and more lemon. So I don't have that squash flavour anymore. So I'm actually going to pour this into a greased pan and hopefully it'll bake. We still don't know how this is going to turn out. I have a bundt tin, so I'm actually going to put this in the bundt tin rather than a sandwich loaf tin. What I like to do to put the butter on is, so I'm just going to get a little freezer bag, grab a bit of butter and run that around the inside of the pan. This is just so you don't get butter all over your hands. And we want a generous amount of butter around this so that you don't have your cake sticking. If you're just using a normal square pan, then I would line it with some baking paper and lay that down the bottom of the pan and on the sides, and then just pour your mixture over the top of that. But I can't really do that with this one. So generous amount of butter should do it. Okay. Let's see how we go. Spread that out. This is quite a wet mixture, so I probably could have done with more flour. I think this is going to take a while in the oven. I'm hoping I should have put more flour. Let's see how we go anyway. It's very wet. I might actually turn the temperature down and just cook it a bit longer. So I'm going to put my temperature down to 170 degrees Celsius, which is, let me find out, about 340 degrees Fahrenheit, so 170 degrees Celsius. And I'll tell you how long it takes when it's finished. Stick around. Well, here we go. The cake was in the oven for 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it was actually at 175 degrees Celsius. And I've got to say, I'm actually surprised it turned out. I had no expectations whatsoever, especially since when I put it in the oven, it was actually quite a wet mixture. So as it is with the ingredients that I've put in, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes, 175 degrees. If you choose to put more almond flour in there, then I think you'll be able to go a little bit less. I'd probably do it at 180 degrees and then try about 50 minutes. But as it is now, 1 hour and 10 minutes, 175. And now I'm going to do a lemon butter frosting to go on top. So like a lemon butter cream, I guess. So might as well. So what I've got here is 100 grams of softened butter, 125 grams, sorry, of softened butter, and it's a salted butter. And I'm going to grate the zest of a lemon again. This is optional. Well, pretty much everything's optional since this is the first time I'm doing this. So the zest of probably half a lemon, and we'll do the juice of half a lemon just to begin with as well. I'm not sure how much we're going to do here. These are quite a juicy lemon too. So the juice of half a lemon, and we'll mix that together. I almost forgot, we'll need some sweetener as well. So again, I'm going with the nat beer. I'm just going to use just a level tablespoon of the sweetener. Again, I can add more to that if I feel it needs a little bit more sweetness. And then we'll beat that. When you're mixing this, you want to taste it just to make sure that the flavours are right for you. I've actually added extra sugar or sweetener, so there's 2 tablespoons of nat beer in here and the juice of half a lemon plus an extra squeeze. And I've whipped the butter and sugar and lemon mixture all together until it's nice and creamy. And it actually tastes really, really good. It's really tangy. So the extra lemon really helped, and just having that extra sugar as well, or the sweetener, just gives it a nice little bit of sweetness to it without it being too much. So put this cream over the top of your cake, or the buttercream, and smooth it out. This is going to be absolutely beautiful. there we go. I think this looks amazing. I've already tasted some of the cake crumb and the cream, so I know it's going to taste amazing as well. I'm going to put this in the fridge for a little while just so that the buttercream goes hard again, and then I'll slice into it and show you how tasty it is. I'm pretty happy about this. Okay, so I've summoned Chris home just so that he can taste this cake because I wanted an opinion other than my own.
Cake? Did you say cake?
I did.
It's got a hole in it.
It does. It's a holy cake.
So it looks good. You're not going to tell me what's in it?
No.
Should I? Okay. It's heavy,
Oh, that's not good.
isn't it? It feels weighty.
Okay. I gave him a big piece.
It's lemony.
Yeah. Is it nice?
I'm still yet to decide.
I think it was tasty.
It's a really nice flavour.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fluffy like a cake though.
No.
It's almost like a cross between a cake and cheesecake. It's got that.
Okay, there's no cheese in it.
No, but it's tasty. Be
Do
good
you
with
like
cream.
the flavour?
I do like the flavour. It's very nice.
Do you want to know what the secret ingredient
Oh,
is?
yeah, hit me with it. Oh,
Squash.
really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's
I wouldn't have picked that.
It's a lemon squash cake.
A lemon squash cake.
Yeah. So there you go.
I like it. It needs
Yeah.
lots of cream on it. It'd be nice. Cream and eat it with a spoon.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Lots
Good.
of cream coming up. You heard it from the boss.
I'm ready.
If you make it, let me know what you think. And if you like this video and others, hit subscribe and I will catch you next time. See ya.
Squash cake.
Lemon squash cake.
I'm glad you didn't tell me.